real criticism you'd ever hear about the previous generation Mitsubishi Evos centered on the interior of the cars. Not terribly surprising really when you remember that the top-of-the-line Evolution traces its roots back to the Econo-line Lancer. To be fair though, the Evo has always offered world-class driving dynamics for budget-class money. The only way Mitsubishi was able to do that was to skimp on the trimmings in the cabin and focus on the meat in the drivetrain. But now, the company has decided to take the top-dog Evo model, the Evolution MR, up-market to contend with the likes of BMW and their 135i. This required spending a little more time and energy looking after the design and build quality of the cabin. So, have their efforts paid off? Well, the only honest answer is mostly. The improvements over the Evo 9 are noticeable immediately, no question, but the face-off with the Germans on interior quality will have to wait for another day. However, there are still a lot of positives to focus on in the interior of the Lancer Evolution MR. For one, there is a ton of content here for the dollar. The 650-watt Rockford Fosgate audio system with navigation and a 30-gig hard drive totally kicks ass. Moving on, the plastics in the cabin are much improved over past Evos, with most of the surfaces you touch on a daily basis feeling pretty good. Speaking of things you touch often, in the cabin, the steering wheel has a nice feel, as do the magnesium shift paddles that operate the SST gearbox. I'd rather see them mounted to the wheel itself instead of the steering column, but they work well regardless. The gear lever also feels good with a positive movement and the correct orientation. Push for downshift, pull for upshift. The seats are probably the first thing you notice inside the cabin of the Evo, and just like past Evos, these Recaro thrones are track-worthy. And once you've driven in these seats at the track, you'll forgive them any shortcomings. As far as living with the car, we found it relatively painless with the exception of the corporate card getting a hell of a workout at the gas pump. And with gas prices here in Southern California just passing $4 a gallon for premium, I'm sure I'll be hearing about that on the expense report. Overall, the Lancer Evolution proved very easy to live with, which is part of what makes this car such a bargain. It's not only a great performer, but one that's quite usable as well. I'm Emile Beret, OnCars.